Hey, what's up? I'm Courtney, also known as Self-Care Creature, and I work with creative individuals to help you deepen your intuition, raise your self-worth, and spread your awareness so that you can live a truly fulfilled and empowered existence. I was talking to my grandma this morning, and I was really surprised because she was telling me this story about how she went over to a friend's house. She lives in a retirement facility, so she went up to a friend's apartment. And she said that that friend just started to proceed to tell her about how she's watching all the wrong news channels and supporting all the wrong people and just like, you know, and then like started waving her Bible at her. And my grandma and I went to church together growing up. My grandma has always considered herself a religious, not a religious person, maybe perhaps spiritual. I can't put words in her mouth. But I have always known my grandmother to believe in God and to have faith in that regard. Feels weird to say have faith, but you know what I mean. I was surprised when my grandma continued to say, you know, even a few years ago, I probably would have just sat there and listened to it and thought, oh, she knows what she's talking about, or even if we have differing opinions, I don't need to share mine. And she was like, I just don't feel that way anymore. I think if somebody is going to share their opinion with me, I have the right to share it back. And she went on to say, I'm not ashamed and that I came from a place that was very poor and that people have different life experiences from me. I think that is what has kept me from speaking up for so long in my life, because I felt uneducated and I felt that others knew more than me. But now I'm 90 years old and I know that I have something to share and something to offer because of all this life experience I have. And I was just beaming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, Grandma, I am so happy to hear you say this for yourself and about yourself. It meant so much to me because it feels like a message that I need right now at 30 years old, because I feel all the time I'm still getting paralyzed. My traumatic response in my body is to freeze, and I just literally clam up and I can't speak my words. And then I'm always like, well, I can see everybody's perspective, and who am I to say that I'm right? And you know, what is existence and what reality are we living in? And blah, 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 and just slowly like spiraling out. I'm coming into a space where I am learning to stand my own ground and to have harder conversations. And a friend of mine recently helped me kind of shift this and realize that it really is about my experience and speaking from my own truth. And that's part of what my Well Self course is about, and just adopting this self-care lifestyle through the many endless free resources that I have. We are showing up and knowing ourselves fully, knowing what we stand for, what we don't stand for, what our values are, if we're living in alignment with our values. Because then I just say that's one of the hardest things, is like, we can say like, well, I know who I am, I know what I stand for, but when was the last time you actually held up your beliefs to who you are and how you're showing up in this world? Because that's a wake-up call right there, and it can be really fucking hard to face it, to realize that like, you are not being the person that you say you want to be. And this ebbs and flows with the different challenges and situations that we find ourselves in our lives. And we have to give ourselves the grace to recognize that. We have to be able to call ourselves out and recognize our own shit if we ever want to actually shift and make a difference and live this empowered, fulfilled existence. And it just was really, really neat to see my grandma kind of waking up to this in her own way. And I'm just going to reiterate and say, like, you don't have to wait until you're 90 to be able to realize this. Your life experience does matter. And we're coming into an age where we are learning how to notice our own reactions, our guttural reactions, our trauma response reactions that we may not like or love or even know anything different. And we're learning how we can show up and support ourselves in order to be aware of these reactions and choose different responses. That really is the way of the future. And that comes with learning how to actually actively listen and understand another person's perspective. I am just so grateful for my grandmother and these life lessons that she has continuously given me. and it really has shaped my path in the way that I view people and believe in my ability to hold space for others. And I know that if like my little 90-year-old grandmother can do it, hey, we can do it too.